welcome to Mondays with Mom, the podcast where my mom, Leah,
Hi.
and I, Jo, dive into her stories, experiences, and the lessons she's hoping I finally take to heart. My mom has always dreamed of turning her life into a book or a movie, and this podcast is our way of making that dream come true, one episode at a time. Right, Mom?
Right, Joey, and thanks for that. Nice to be back again.
Nice to be recording with you again.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what I was thinking we should discuss today, because I was recently reminded of a story that I thought people might enjoy, was I went to the hairdresser, as I go quite often, a little bit too often, to color my grays, which come out a little bit too often again.
The dreaded greys.
The dreaded greys, and I even have to pace my visits, because if I go to the hairdresser every time I would like to go, they shout at me. They kind of say, this is too soon, and I'm looking at myself in the mirror thinking, it's definitely not too soon. It should have happened like a week ago. So what I do is in between, I quickly touch it up myself at home. I have my hair dye that my faithful hairdresser that I had in South Africa, Hayley, shout out to Hayley and thank you for always supplying me with hair color. She's absolutely amazing and has this really awesome, good quality hair color that I don't find anywhere else. So I rush to South Africa, collect a batch of it and come back to Greece. And definitely, I need to let everyone know it's a very small price to pay. It's the price I pay for my sanity. Now, some people allow themselves to embrace going grey, and they
do it like gracefully.
They do it gracefully. Now, particularly men, it's very annoying because a lot of women that go grey look a bit old, and often men look distinguished.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit unfair, but I mean, I've seen...
It is very unfair.
Exactly. But I've seen pictures, for example, of George Clooney when he was younger and pictures when he started going grey, and he looks much sexier and hotter as a grey guy.
I saw a joke. It was a screenshot of a joke. I don't remember who. It was at some award show where it said younger George Clooney's only real competition is middle-aged George Clooney. He
there
looks
you go.
way better.
And he does it really well. And on the topic of Georges, my husband George looks very distinguished with his grey hair.
He does.
Then you have people like Richard Gere. Oh, we said that together. And then even people like Pierce Brosnan.
Pierce Brosnan's a good one.
I mean, with grey hair, he could rock James Bond.
He could. He rocked Mamma Mia as well.
Absolutely.
I don't think he had grey hair in that, but he rocked it.
And you kind of find people look at these guys and think they look hot. Now, that's not to say that some women can't rock grey hair.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've got friends of mine and I've got cousins who actually look really good and very stylish with their grey hair.
And it suits them.
And then there are a lot of women.
Famous actresses, etc.
Famous actresses. So you have people like Jane Fonda, Diane Keaton, God rest her soul. Recently, people like Andie MacDowell,
Meryl
Streep, and the list goes on.
Yeah, there's a lot of them out there. Just unfortunately not us. Hey, Mom?
Well, I don't know about you yet, Jo, but certainly not me, and I know this for a fact. I'll explain in a minute.
Okay, I'm looking forward to this.
Now, even biblically, it is one of the areas where the Bible and I kind of go on separate paths. Is even in the Bible, in Proverbs, it'll say your grey hair is your crown of splendor, and it's like righteousness, and it's basically saying that it's your badge of honor. And I really wish if God wanted to honor me, he would do it in a bit of a better way, because grey hair and I just don't do well together. So before my first marriage, my marriage to your dad, Jo, I had something called a kitchen tea in South Africa.
Okay.
And I'll explain what a kitchen tea is. Firstly, for my Greek listeners, a kitchen tea would be the equivalent of making the bed. Now, I know that sounds weird. In Greek, it's stronoume to krevati. And what happens is that before a woman gets married, a few of her friends come over.
Yeah.
Usually it's single friends, but also some older women. And they bring gifts of bed linen.
Okay.
So sheets and pillowcases and that kind of thing. And the women all get together and they make the bed for the bride to be. The bride kind of watches this and they make this bed, and usually white linen, And then what they do is they have traditions where, for example, they throw rice on the bed. Okay. And that is for your wedding, because rice in Greek is rizi.
Yeah.
So it's for your wedding to rizosi. So for your wedding to take roots, so that you have deep roots, so that your wedding lasts. They then throw those candied almonds or kufeta
On the bed.
on the bed so that your marriage will be sweet.
Interesting.
They also throw money on the bed so that your union will be prosperous.
Yeah.
And then, the pièce de résistance, they sometimes fling a child onto the bed.
Whose child?
And they find a child of someone there that's had one, and they just fling it onto the bed, which the child usually thinks is great fun.
Yeah.
And that is supposed to symbolize you going forth and procreating and having a wonderful family and lots of children. And apparently, a lot of Greek people believe that the sex of the child that you throw onto the bed, or the gender of the child, will end up being the first child that you have.
Okay. Interesting.
So if you'd like to have a girl, you'd like fling a whole lot of girls onto the bed.
Along with the rice.
Along with the rice and the candied almonds, you make sure the child's not going to choke on any of those things.
Yeah, wow. I mean, the rice is uncooked, I'm also assuming.
The rice is uncooked. And so now the South African equivalent of that is something called the kitchen tea, which is very different to a hen party.
It sounds very British and very or hoity-toity,
Well,
old-fashioned.
it was a British colony. I haven't actually looked into what the origins of the kitchen tea were.
Yeah.
But it's very different to the hen party where you go out with your female friends and have fun.
Yeah.
At a kitchen tea, you don't want only young women, because at a kitchen tea they bring you presents. So you want the older woman because they've got the money to actually buy you nice gifts. And it's almost what it sounds like. You have a little tea party for the woman and everybody brings you gifts.
Nice.
And the gifts are things that you should be able to use in your new home or in your new kitchen. So it will often be appliances like a toaster, a kettle, a food processor, all sorts of gifts like that. And what used to be, I don't think they do it anymore, or I'm not quite sure, but what used to be a thing at kitchen teas is that they would dress up the bride-to-be.
Okay.
So you were dressed in some kind of a costume.
Did the bride get to choose what the outfit was?
No, the bride didn't get to choose when she had the kitchen tea. She doesn't get to choose the venue of the kitchen tea. I think she is involved a little bit in the guest list.
Yeah.
And someone else decides what she's going to wear. And they kind of dress you up to make you look either silly or dress you up. You might be dressed as a chef. You might be dressed as a chambermaid. You could be dressed as, it's usually something silly but fun.
Yeah.
And what happens is that the bride comes out dressed up. They present her outfit to her last minute.
Okay.
She comes out dressed up and she gets handed a gift one by one.
Okay.
And the ladies that give you a gift need to write on it some kind of a clever little poem that gives you some kind of a clue of what's in the gift.
All right.
And you get to hold this gift if you're the bride-to-be. You shake it, you see how heavy it is.
Okay.
And then you've got to guess what's inside before you open it.
And what if you guess wrong?
And if you guess wrong, there are forfeits.
Oh.
So they'll make you do something that might embarrass you in front of the other woman.
Okay.
And it's all fun and games and everyone's laughing and generally having a great time.
All right.
So my kitchen tea was organized by my sister, Cleo.
Okay.
Shout out to Cleo. Thank you for this and for everything that came with it. And what she decided is she was going to dress me up as Marilyn Monroe.
Nice.
And if anyone thinks of Marilyn Monroe, if you kind of think of the most iconic image of this blonde bombshell, what comes to mind, Jo?
When she's over the grate.
Exactly. When she's wearing that iconic white dress and she's standing over that grate and the dress is blowing up. And the dress is that very fancy halter neck white dress. And I'm not sure if you noticed, but because I was being dressed up as her, she wears stiletto white heels with that dress.
Nice.
Now, the theme of my kitchen tea was actually Some Like It Hot.
Okay.
Okay, which is quite cute because at the end of the kitchen tea, once you've done the whole thing, you present the woman with a small little gift that they take home with them. And so what my sister had planned is, obviously she had planned little spice jars with either chili flakes in them or cayenne pepper or paprika. And everyone had a little label, "Thank you for attending Leah's kitchen tea. Some like it hot." However, interestingly enough, the iconic dress doesn't come from the movie Some Like It Hot.
No.
It actually comes from The 7-Year Itch, which is so appropriate in my case, because that's when my marriage fell apart after 7 years. So I actually had the 7-year itch. It was all meant to be. It was all pre-planned. Now, the only thing that I was told about this kitchen tea in advance was that I should bring a pair of fancy stockings.
Okay.
And that I should bring stiletto white heels.
So when you got told that, did you have like any inkling of an idea of who you were going to be dressing up as?
No, because I could have been dressing up as a chambermaid for all I knew.
What is a chambermaid that you keep talking about?
I don't know.
For people that don't know what a chambermaid is.
I'm just picturing...
like someone who milks the cows. Is that what you're thinking?
No, I'm thinking of one of these women wearing like a little black dress with like a frilly apron on it.
Like a French maid.
French maid is what I meant. Okay. French chambermaid. Let's put it that way.
When I think of chambermaid, I think of like someone, the milkmaid or someone that like is
okay.
That's what I think when I don't know if I'm right, but that's what I thought when you said chambermaid.
Okay, well maybe you could dress someone up as that. You probably wouldn't put the stilettos on them then. I would think that
it would be like how I dress, say like Cinderella in their working outfit. You know, before they become like the pretty princess.
Okay. Well, I knew that it was going to be good because of the stilettos.
Okay. So you thought but you were thinking French maid or something.
I was thinking something along those lines.
Okay.
And my sister had gone out and she had actually rented the whole outfit. So the outfit involved the white halter neck dress. What she didn't tell me is to have some kind of a padded bra because for anyone that didn't know this, Marilyn Monroe was a 36D. And although I'm not going to reveal on this podcast exactly what size I am.
Yeah, let's not.
What I will say is that I've never gotten a D grade for anything in my life.
Okay, it's good to know. So what else were you given for your costume to make it like part of the iconic full look?
Well, as we know, Marilyn Monroe was the blonde bombshell that men would be swooning over. And so we had to have the platinum blonde wig.
Of course.
And then on the side, there was the well-known red lipstick.
Iconic.
That was very iconic. And also, you had to have the beauty spot.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you were going to be Marilyn Monroe, you couldn't just have a red lip and be blonde.
Yes. And subsequently, I learned, because I was a bit annoyed with having this eyeliner spot on my face, but I actually learned that beauty spot was real. I always used to think it was fake. And I've learned that it was real. And what she would do is actually...
accentuate
Exactly. Make it look even more obvious and make it part of her look as opposed to trying to hide it.
And now, like, it's become an iconic feature of hers.
Totally. So my sister had gone to a proper costume hiring place and hired the full outfit. And when she brought it home, this is long before I was involved in the process, when she brought it home, she looked at the wig and she felt possibly maybe the hiring place had hired this out once too many times.
Yeah.
She looked at it and she thought, you know what, she's not happy with it. She's not happy with the actual hairstyle. She doesn't feel it looks enough of Marilyn Monroe. So what she was going to do is take the wig to her hairdresser.
Okay.
Let the wig be washed and reset in those curls that Marilyn Monroe used to have.
Yeah.
So that I could have this nice fresh hair and this nice wig.
That's a clever idea.
It was a clever idea and really nice of her to do.
Yeah.
So she did this and she went and fetched the wig from the hairdresser a couple of hours before the kitchen tea. So unbeknownst to me, I arrive, I find out that I'm going to be dressed up as Marilyn Monroe, you know, quite excited because this is a nice dress and I'm wearing the heels. I've got the nice stockings.
Yeah. So
and
the outfit is almost complete.
Almost complete. And they were giving me a bit of a tutorial on how I needed to walk. That when I walk, I must hold my head up high. I must sway my hips because they would present me to the crowd. The crowd was already there and then they would bring me out all dressed up.
Okay, cute.
And I was told to sway my hips and also keep my lips ever so slightly parted.
Okay.
And I thought, okay, I was trying to remember all that information. And then they finished off the look with the wig. And I was really excited about the look till we put the wig on. And I kept thinking to myself, I was looking in the mirror and I'm thinking, well, how does Marilyn Monroe pull this off?
Yeah.
Because I looked so bad, but really, really bad. And
what part of it made you look bad?
I think I looked pale. I also, this hair wouldn't stand properly. I don't know what quality wig it was, but the hair felt wiry. It felt like a bad quality wig. And I just looked, I don't know, I looked like I had escaped from the dead. I looked more like I belonged in Michael Jackson's Thriller.
That's so funny.
Than at a kitchen tea. And a lot of people asked me, Leah, are you doing okay? Are you feeling okay? Yes. So it was quite weird for me. And the hair was really annoying me, and I kept putting clips in. I even think I pulled out a few tufts of hair that I felt were in the wrong place. Anyway, I got through the whole kitchen tea, and I, in my sickly state as I was, looking pale and sallow, and people were worried that maybe I was upset at getting married. I don't know. Everyone must have had their own opinions on all of this. And I really did my best to guess all the presents correctly.
Were you good at it?
I tried my best to be good, but I don't remember all of my forfeits, but I do remember having to sing Happy Birthday to you. So I had to do the whole Happy Birthday, Mr. President thing.
Yeah.
And then the other thing they would do is ask me, so Marilyn, what do you wear to bed? And then I had to be all coy and say, well, 5 drops of Chanel No. 5 behind my ears.
That's so funny.
So that was funny. And all this while feeling very pale, sallow.
Well, at least you weren't looking at yourself the whole time.
I wasn't looking at myself. People were looking at me. I have seen photos of the event afterwards, and I literally want to pull my hair out. Anyway, the whole event went well. I got lots of nice presents. It was really exciting. The women all seemed to enjoy it. They all enjoyed the little spices that they took home.
Yeah, that's cute.
And the kitchen tea ended, and I just had this feeling that I wasn't designed to be Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah.
Besides the 36D. I just thought, obviously, I can never pull off this look. Anyway, my sister then had to hand the outfit back to the hiring place.
Yeah.
So she went back to the hiring place, I think a day or two later. I don't remember if she had it dry cleaned first or if she took it to them to be cleaned. That I don't remember. But I remember she got to the hiring place and they wouldn't accept the wig.
Oh, weird.
And my sister said, why aren't you accepting the wig? And they said, this is not our wig.
Oh.
And my sister said, listen, this has to be your wig because I don't walk around with Marilyn Monroe wigs. I got the outfit from you guys and this is your wig. And they showed her on the inside of the dress that they had their company logo or they had a little tag inside.
Yeah.
And they said all their stuff has got this tag sewn into it so that they can identify it. And they said, this is not our wig.
Oh, weird. Okay.
And so my sister thought this was
was
very
it?
weird. Well, so eventually she tried to trace back her steps and she went back to the hairdresser.
Okay.
And believe it or not, what had actually happened is as my sister walked into the hairdresser and had handed in this platinum blonde Marilyn Monroe wig, a couple of the hairdressers hadn't started working on that wig yet because she was only going to come collect it the following day.
Okay.
Someone else walked in a couple of minutes later or a couple of hours later and brought in a wig they had made of their grandmother's hair.
Oh no.
And accidentally, both styles, I mean, those old ladies that used to put rollers in their hair. So both styles needed rollers in them. And when my sister came to pick up the wig, they accidentally gave her the old woman's hair.
Oh my word. But wouldn't it have been obvious? Was her hair also platinum blonde?
Well, looking back, I think her hair was more like silver gray and wiry, which would explain why it wouldn't sit properly because that kind of gray hair often it was somebody's real hair, which now kind of freaks me out.
It's a bit creepy.
It's a bit creepy. And when my sister then realized, the way she realized is she went back to the hairdresser and they said, oh my goodness, thank goodness you brought back this wig, because the other person realized immediately that wasn't their grandmother's hair.
I mean.
And they frantically wanted the wig back. Now, I think they got it back in worse condition than what they gave it to me because this wig had really frustrated me. And the interesting thing is I never got to see that platinum blonde wig.
Because they had to give it back.
She had to give it back. And so...
Oh, my word. What a mix-up.
That was a complete mix-up. And that's how I realized how really bad I look with this gray hair.
That's so funny.
I looked awful. And that's why now I will run to the hairdresser as often as I need to. And there's no chance that I'm going to look like Jane Fonda. There's no chance. In fact, there's no chance I'm even going to look like Marilyn Monroe. This was, I think the closest I'd get is Lily Tomlin.
Who's not bad looking. That's not bad.
She's not bad looking, but she's not quite Jane Fonda.
Okay, but like no one is Jane Fonda except for Jane Fonda. Like that's a bit unrealistic.
Fair enough.
Standard.
And no one is Marilyn Monroe except for Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah.
But it was...
I still can't believe that no one looked at this wig like once and thought this is a bit grey for Marilyn Monroe.
Nobody did. I think in the whole like kind of rush of getting everything organized.
Yeah.
And no wonder. I mean, if I'd said that to Mr. President, he would have like keeled over the poor guy. And I look back at the photos and I look so bad. And this is why I know for a fact, guys, that I'm not going to age gracefully. I don't know whose crown of glory it is, and I know it is for a lot of women. But for me, I'm going to go down fighting.
It's just so funny. I just cannot like get over the how that mix-up could even happen.
I mean, that's so funny. What are the chances?
Like, what are the chances that like you get someone else's wig for like it's a real person's wig?
Exactly. What are the chances that those wigs are going to get switched at that exact time? But I think God did it for me because he knew. He didn't want me to go through, Leah, go grey first and then realize that it doesn't suit you. He thought he's going to teach me from a young age. I was 25 at the time.
Yeah.
That grey just doesn't look good on you. And so I knew that from a young age. And that's why I faithfully keep going to my hairdresser.
I think maybe it was just like, don't think it was a sign about going grey. I think it was more just this, like a foreshadowing of the wedding. Like of the whole marriage. I think that's what it was. Like it was
Yes, it was actually one of the first things that went wrong.
Yeah.
And then everything else came later, which...
That's a whole other episode.
That's a whole other series on its own.
Everything that went wrong.
The funny thing is that years later, when I was in the process of a divorce and didn't have a lot of money, I was seeing a different hairdresser, and I had told the hairdresser that I don't have a lot of money.
Yeah.
And she used to say to me, well, because there was an apprentice that worked at the hairdresser and they would be the ones that would put the color on my hair. The only thing that the hairdresser would do is mix the color.
Yeah.
And all the rest the apprentice would do. And the apprentice was training to be a hairdresser. And what the hairdresser would do is tell me that I could go on training nights and have my hair colored. So I went on a few training nights of one or two apprentices that worked there. Mm-hmm. And the very last time I went, and after that I never went back again, last time I went, this apprentice who had done my hair lots of times, in the anxiety state that they were of being tested and being put on the spot, they mixed the color correctly, but when they put in the peroxide, they used 40 volume instead of 20 volume.
Which is the very hectic volume.
And what that does, it makes your hair go white.
Yeah.
So I was sitting at the hairdresser very happy having my hair colored by someone who had colored my hair hundreds of times. And I look up and I'm platinum blonde.
Oh, no.
And I think I blanked it out. I must have screamed or burst into tears. I think the person got fired. And then they had to quickly put in this toning shampoo.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't prepared to go out like that.
Yeah.
And I remember I had actually met George and we had been dating for a little bit. And he had asked me, can we go out? And I said, I'm never going out again. Now, I won't go out until my hair sorts itself out. And the other thing that was happening is, other than me being this platinum blonde, which I realized, okay, guys, I have to admit, I wouldn't have looked good. Probably even with the original Marilyn wig.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm designed to be platinum blonde. Mm-hmm. And I remember feeling really upset. But the other thing about it is when you use a very high volume of peroxide, as you brush in your hair, bits of hair break.
Oh.
And that's when
oh no, your hair was breaking.
My hair was breaking and it was brittle and it was platinum blonde.
Oh,
and
my word.
I didn't have the dress, so I can try pull it off. And I remember I was so devastated. And George at the time, who was, I think we were still dating, we weren't even engaged. He kind of came to me and he said, listen, I cannot see you go through this ever again. Anytime you want to do your hair, come to me, it's on me. And I
Shame,
still
man.
remember that, and I was eternally grateful for
Yeah,
that.
I'm eternally grateful from a disaster.
From a disaster.
So on that note, what are the lessons that we can take from the story, Mom?
Well, I'd say lesson number 1 is always check your wig.
Never leave your blonde wigs unattended.
Never, ever leave a blonde wig unattended. Another lesson is nobody can compete with Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah, so we shouldn't even try.
We shouldn't even try. And for me, the lesson is if gentlemen do in fact prefer blondes, then I don't think I can have a gentleman.
I think those are some good lessons.
Definitely good lessons. And as always, I'm really, really grateful, Jo, and grateful to our listeners for this podcast.
Me too.
I'm grateful to my sister Cleo for a truly unforgettable kitchen tea. I'm grateful to my hairdresser for keeping my hair colored and allowing me to look normal and not sickly and sallow. And I'm grateful to George for coming to my rescue.
Aww, that's very sweet.
Very, very sweet.
I'm also grateful for all of those things. And I think on that note, it's a good place to end the episode. And
thanks for listening, guys.
Thanks for listening. If you liked listening to us, remember to subscribe on whatever platform you're listening to us on. And tune in next week for our next episode. Bye from us.